Welcome back, students. Today we are going to look into a chapter which is a chapter belonging to financial literacy, that is about shares and dividend. It's a very important and a scoring chapter for ICSE Class 10. To have some idea about what are shares, shares are money which gets invested in a private sector or a public sector company. When big companies needs to be started, a single person will not be trying to invest a huge amount of money because of a very high risk present over there. So usually they try to borrow money from the public, and when public invests the money, they get a part of the ownership of their company, and which we call it as shares. So theoretically to say, if a person is having share of a company, he is a owner of that company, but only that much part of the owner he will be based on how many shares he has. When we say like a company like Tata Steel is owned by the Tata Sons because more than 50% of the shares of Tata Steel is with Tata Sons. So simply to say that shares are the money which we have invested in a company, and the company recognizes us with this, that we have invested this much money in the form of shares. Now, the first basic thing about shares we should know is the price of the shares. The price of a shares are known in two ways. One is the face value. Face value of the share is decided by the company. So this is a price which is usually 10 rupees or 5 rupees or 2 rupees or 1 rupee. That is the price which the company decides, and in the market the shares are not sold at this price. It is usually more or less than this price. So this value, I will say, is price decided by the company. And on this face value only, the company will be giving the dividend. And we will see this dividend later on what it actually means. So dividend will be paid on face value. Remember, dividend is always paid on the face value. Now, another price which we need to know about shares is the market value of it. Market value of the share is the price at which it is available in the market. Market here means the stock exchange, okay, or the share market. The price of a share is whatever prevalent on a trading day at any time, that becomes the market value. Like for example, like Tata Steel share is now being sold at 160 rupees. Okay, so I take Tata Steel shares. Okay, now it is being sold at 160 rupees. Now this becomes the market value of it. Okay, so the face value of Tata Steel share is rupees 1. So this is the face value of Tata Steel shares. So a person, when he buys from the market, I have taken the price as 160 rupees. He spends 160 rupees. But the company has kept the face value as rupees 1. So when the company will be paying dividend, okay, dividend, this dividend when the company will be paying on the basis of this one, okay, not on the basis of the market value. This is very important. Company pays dividend on the basis of always the face value. Now, what is this dividend? The term is coming so many times. You should know. See, when we put money in the bank, like a fixed deposit, the bank in return gives us interest. Now, when we have invested money in the company and the company makes a profit, so being a shareholder, we are also a part of that profit. So the company gives like interest to us. That is called as dividend. So after the end of financial year, looking into the profit made by the company will give us some money which is called as dividend. Okay. So this dividend will be paid, will be informed always in terms of percentage. It is told in terms of percentage. So it will be informed to us in the form of percentage. Like for example, in this year, okay, Tata Steel Company has given a dividend of 360%. Remember, this percentage is on the basis of rupees 1. Okay, not on the basis of rupees 160. So if I calculate the dividend in rupees per share, 360% of 1 rupee, if I find out, I will get it only rupees 3.60 per share. So if a person is having 100 shares of this company, 3.60 into 100, he will get rupees 360 as the dividend. But for buying that 100 shares, he is spending 160 into 100. Okay, so that is roughly coming to 16,000 rupees. So you spend 16,000 rupees and you get a dividend of 360 rupees. Okay, so money spent 160 into 100, that is 16,000. And what is the dividend on that? Dividend on that comes to rupees 360. So you will say it's not much of a earning. Yes, it is not much of an earning. But no one buys shares just to get the profit because of this dividend. But the process of continuously buying and selling makes the main profit. So for example, if a person bought this Tata Steel share for rupees 160 and think after a few days the share prices goes to rupees 200 and he sells it. I had taken, he bought 100 shares and 100 shares per share he bought it for 160 and he's selling for 200 rupees. It means per share he is making a profit of 40 rupees. Per share of profit of 40 rupees. 100 shares into 100. Okay, so that makes a profit of 4,000. So a big profit is there. But don't think that always things will go like this only. Imagine, think he bought it for 160 rupees and the price falls down to now 150 rupees. If the price 160 comes to 150, now is the loss of 10 rupees for every share. And if he is in need of the money at that time and he has to sell the shares, so per share he will make a loss of 10 rupees. For 100 shares, loss is 1,000 rupees. So there is a big risk factor also by investing in shares. But people do a lot of studies, read a lot of magazines, articles, newspapers, and if they are making a correct decision, there will be earning like this taking place. Okay. Now we have seen about face value, market value, and dividend. And about what all things I had already explained, I have written and kept here. Like for Tata Steel, I have taken an example of face value as rupees 1. Market value is rupees 160. Dividend percent I informed is 360%. And think a number of share a person has bought is 100. Then we will see into all these things as I proceed further. So follow few more terms which will be there. Face value is also called as nominal value. Okay, another term for it. Then, if a company is selling the shares at a price above the face value, or in the market it is being sold at a price above the face value, then we make use of the term premium. Okay, so we come to a term premium. Okay, when a share is sold at premium, it is at a price greater than the face value. So premium will be a price which will be more than the face value. And if it is sold at a price less than the face value, then we call it as discount. Okay. Then when it is at face value, another word for it is at par. And if it is at a premium, then it is called as above par. Okay, at par is face value, so that is why more than that is given the name as above par. And when it is a discount, it is sold at a lesser price, so it is called as below par. Okay, so you need to know these terms, because in the question if it is given, you need to relate that above par is premium, so price will increase, and below par is discount, so the price will decrease. Okay, now we will see into some other things like how we come to the formulas. Like for example, if I say a person is buying 100 shares of Tata Steel and the market value is 160, so you know that the money he will have to spend is 100 multiplied with 160. So we get the investment formula. Investment which a person makes is number of shares into the market value. So if we go to find the investment here, 160 into 100, so the investment will become 16000. Okay, so the investment becomes 16,000 rupees if he buy 100 shares. So always we will get the investment in this way. From here, we can find the other things involved here. Like for example, if you are given the investment and you are given the number of shares. So this number of shares going here and dividing. So investment divided by the number of shares will give you market value. Or in many other sums, you will be having the investment given and the market value given. So dividing the investment with the market value, you will be able to calculate the number of shares. So remember, we are not going to here increase the formula just by changing the side. Okay, we can get the other things also. Now next, we need to know the dividend. Okay, so for dividend, see, if a person has got more shares, he is bound to get more dividend. It means the dividend earned depends upon the number of shares. Greater the number of shares, greater is the dividend earned. So we get here first of all number of shares. Then, as told earlier, it will depend upon the face value. Dividend is always given on the face value. So here it is multiplied with the face value. Okay, and then the company will tell based on its profit whether means how much of dividend percentage will be there. So that we take it as rate. So rate percent of dividend will be multiplied, and because we will have this rate always in percentage, so you get 100 coming here. So if you have to find dividend, you will require to know the number of shares, face value, and the rate of dividend. That divided by 100 will give you. So if you take a look here, number of shares is 100. Okay, face value is 1 rupee, rate is 360%. So here if I write 100, that 100 will get cancelled here. Face value is 1 multiplied with 360. So the person will be earning a dividend of 360 rupees by buying 100 shares of Tata Steel Company. Okay, so in this way we find the dividend. This dividend can also be called as annual income. But annual income doesn't mean that every company gives the dividend only once in a year. There might be a case where a company gives dividend twice in a year. So it varies from company to company. Another next very important part coming. No one should relate whether a share is good or bad based on this percentage. Do not relate with this because it is given on face value, but a person buys the share at market value and you can just see the difference. Okay, 1 rupee is the face value, market value is 160. That is why to judge how much actually you are earning, you need to calculate one more thing, which is called as return percent. Called as return percent. So return percent will be based on how much return did you get. Like I got in this case 360 as the dividend. So this is what I am getting. So it will be your dividend, and then it will be based on how much money did I spend, because on the basis of spending I am earning. So it will depend upon the investment. So by the investment and then multiplied with 100, because percentage is there, so multiplied with 100. This is always the best judge or the only way to judge whether a share is more profitable or less profitable. Because I need to judge on the basis of the money which I have spent, not on the basis of what face value the company has spent. Okay, so remember this. If you have to compare two shares, not by dividend percent, but by percentage return. And this percentage return is given another term. Okay, it is also called as yield percent. So question can tell you, okay, find the yield percent. So you should relate, it is the same thing, return percent. Dividend by investment into 100. Now one more thing over here. This dividend on one share if I take, then this investment will become this market value. Because market value of one share, if I am buying one share, that's the investment. So remember that. And because we are finding percentage, you take one share and find this return percent, or you take 5 shares, 15 shares, or 50 shares, the percentage will come as the same. Okay. And one more thing to remember, in ICSE board where the face value is not given, you have to take the face value as rupees 100, not 1 or 2 or 10 rupees. Okay, face value is not given in the sum, but you think you need to make use of it. And the question doesn't ask you to find the face value, you need to take it as rupees 100. Another formula which is very helpful in making your work shorter, based on what money we get as income. Okay, so one way of finding the income you have seen here is knowing the dividend. Okay, and dividend is on face value. So I will have the face value multiplied with dividend percent will be same as the market value multiplied with the return percent. See, when I do face value multiplied with dividend percent, I come to know how much I am getting back. If I do market value into return percent, that also gives me my income. So both are same. So 4 things are involved here. You come to know 3 values. The 4th one can be found directly by this, instead of using the 2nd and the 3rd formula separately. Okay. Basically, in most cases, the sums are more or less direct to formula. But in some cases, you need to be careful about what is being done. Like I would like to tell about one more term. Okay. That term is called as sale proceed. Sale proceeds. See, as I told, people will invest in shares to get profit by selling a share at a price more than what he bought for, and then buying another company share at a lesser price, and then when the price increases, sell it again. So always that selling process will be there after buying. So when we sell, okay, we get the money. The money which we get after selling the shares is your sale proceed. So for example, this Tata Steel share of market value 160, I had bought 100 shares and I am selling these shares for 200 rupees. So 100 into 200 will become the sale proceed. Okay, so if I write here sale proceed will be, I have 100 shares and I am selling them when the price increases to 200. So I am selling at 200 rupees. Okay, so the money which I will get will be this much of money. Okay, this becomes 20,000 become the sale proceed. Now what do I do with this 20,000? Usually if I am investing in shares, again I will invest in some other company. So I take that 20 shares and go to buy Tata Motors shares. So for Tata Motors shares, now 20,000 becomes my investment. Okay, and if I am getting a Tata Motors shares for rupees 650, so 20,000 divided by 650 will give me the number of shares of Tata Motors which I can buy. Okay, hope whatever I have explained, things have become clear to you all. It's a chapter which is also very, very beneficial for us. Later on, you finish your studies, go to work, and you will have your own income. And if you are going to make that money to grow more, have a proper information about the share market. With this information, you can try to gain more informations, invest your money in shares, and make an earning out of it. Remember the formula, try the exercise sums, you will be able to work them out. Hope you have liked this video. If you have liked it, kindly subscribe this channel, Rodrigues Classes. Thank you. Have a nice day.